So starting the test drive in this Santa Cruz XRT, pretty much like every other Santa Cruz that I've driven with the 2.5 turbo and that 8-speed dual clutch, extremely quick, and it's so fun to drive with that dual clutch transmission. Now, a lot of people have asked me before what I think about reliability just in terms of the older dual clutches that Hyundai's offered. I don't really have a lot of experience with those. I'm gonna try and get my hands on one because I am curious how they drive, and I'm really not sure how long they've had this transmission, but especially in the 22, 23s, and then 24s that I've driven, haven't seen any issues out of them. Of course, I mostly drive these vehicles brand new, so hopefully I wouldn't see that anyways. But I mean, again, from a driver's perspective, it's extremely fun. Of course, you get Hyundai's warranty, which is pretty much top notch, so that kind of helps with any issues that might come along the road for most people. Now, in this smart mode here, I do like that depending on how much throttle you give the vehicle, it kind of determines what kind of output you get. So if I'm giving it light throttle, usually it'll kind of dial me back, and then if I put my foot into it, then all of a sudden it's ready to go. And then just having the paddle shifters at the touch of a button is nice to have too if you just all of a sudden want to give it full throttle. Now I'm gonna put it in a sport mode now, and then we'll just see how it responds getting on the interstate here. But no one's behind me, so I'm gonna give myself some space, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my foot into it. Now, with it being in sport mode, that was only about 2/3 throttle. I didn't have my foot even close to the floor. But very, very, just extremely peppy. So we do have the Smart Cruise on here, adjusted the gap about as far back as it'll go. Lane centering's there, and of course you want to keep your hand on the steering wheel. It kind of just guides you. But if you need to, technically you could take your hand off. As you can see, it's perfectly normal. You just don't necessarily want to risk that. You always want to be ready to take control of the steering wheel at any given moment. But another great thing about this Santa Cruz XRT, having this all-wheel drive system just makes this so capable. If you do want to take it for, you know, light off-roading, something like that, say like a dirt road or something, and you want to really put your foot into it, you're able to do so. And your traction is going to be pretty good. And even in normal mode, just getting this thing up to speed is like nothing. And when you're not putting your foot into it, you can get 27, 28 miles per gallon on the highway, and probably close to 20 miles per gallon city, depending on how many times you have to accelerate. But just having, again, such a capable powertrain makes this all the more a great option, in my opinion. Now, I like how Hyundai has brought the XRT trim level to the Santa Cruz. I think it makes this that much more of an outlier. And these days, with everybody kind of copying everybody else from a manufacturer standpoint, it's nice to have something that's a bit off-road oriented, that really reminds you of those older Subaru Bajas that were all-wheel drive. And I think you might have been able to get a turbo on one of those, but it's just a fun truck. But you can also use it if you need to haul or do light towing, and then you can also commute in it pretty nicely too. And for the price point, honestly, you get a lot for the money with this being under 42 grand sticker. So especially with the 8-speed dual clutch, I've always liked how these have driven. Very fun. And then again, having Hyundai's warranty, you're pretty much covered for how most people will keep their vehicles. Now, if you're trying to keep it for 1 million miles, you'll want to extend your warranty or just be mindful of certain things. But again, with Hyundai having one of those top of the line warranties in terms of time and mileage, shouldn't have many issues that can't be fixed by the manufacturer. But this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2024 Hyundai Santa Cruz XRT with all-wheel drive.